Welcome to the network of Networth video podcast, having high-level conversations with high-level individuals. I'll be your host, Christopher Day. Enjoy the show. Hello there, Coach Trell. How are you today, good sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very, very well. Very nice to see you again. Very nice to see you again. We had that brief encounter in the other network meeting, and I've been looking forward to speaking with you ever since.
Okay. So go by Coach Trell. I do a little bit of coaching. I do some leadership development, professional development, different things of that nature. 20 years military service, and I kind of had the want to continue to give back, want to continue to help people develop, want to continue to help people kind of nourish and find better versions of themselves. So I kind of found that way through coaching.
So, in what ways do you do that? Like, how do you facilitate it? What does your program look like? What does it look like to work with you?
It's simple. It just depends. If it's corporate, if it's looking at professional development workshops or anything like that, I may come in, visit, just look at the environment, kind of see how things are going on, kind of get a feel for, what it is that you may be looking for. See how the team operates, see how the team, you know, communicates, and communication is a big thing. So set up a consultation. We go through those different things, come up with some plans, maybe discussing if you want to work on communication, if you want to work on leadership development, different things like that. We'll sit down, we'll come up with the plan and tailor it towards your needs, and we can start that way.
Certainly, that makes sense. So, what is your average client size? Do you deal more on the one-on-one coaching, or do you do more on the corporate side that's a little bit larger with teams?
So I started out with doing one-on-one coaching, and it was phenomenal. It took off by word of mouth. So then I kind of started to small groups. Then went from groups anywhere from 6 to 12, working with different real estate functions, chamber of commerce, local things like that, and then started transitioning to the corporate world. So that's where I am now, looking to get a little bit more involved, and that way we can help some people become, better defined leaders out there.
I love that. I love that. Well, this show is titled "The Network of Net Worth." The whole reason for having this is to allow you to kind of tell the world what it is that you do, who you want to work with, who you're looking for. If you're looking for partners, if you're looking for investors, if you're looking for a certain type of clientele, that's really what we want to hear. You don't have to beat around the bush. You can straight up tell us what you're looking for. Well, look, man, hey, I've been building businesses my whole life. And I will say that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning of certain steps and stages of their process, they're afraid to say certain things for whatever reason, right? Look, all that's taken off the table. That's the reason for this show. You're looking for something, you're offering something, and you do something. All of that needs to be highlighted so that you can meet, so that you can find who you're looking for, so that you, whether it be clientele or whether it be partnership or whether it be, somebody to come in and help you do something, whatever it is. The only way they're going to know is if you tell them. So
Absolutely.
tell us, Jamal, what is it that you are looking for?
I am looking for clients. I am looking for people that want to better themselves, their companies. I'm looking for people who want to do something positive out there in the world and make a change. I'm looking for mentees, people who want to be mentored. Uh, those are the
Certainly.
type of things that I'm looking for. People with good vibes and just want to do better and become better versions of themselves.
Great. Okay. Now, on that, because you're looking for mentees, you specifically said mentees and people to advise and help out. So, what type of pricing structure do you normally work with? Just on average, what are you working, with per client, kind of?
So it depends on the type of consultation, right? So it depends on if we come up with the plan, whether it be a 90-day program, a 6-month program, and if we're dealing with corporations, it can be from 6 months to 12 months, depending on how you want to see that return on your type of investment. So individuals, that would give you a foundation, because it's all about patterns, right? To establish, show that you are consistently moving into that right direction that you're looking forward to. So something with the not short term, but something with at least 90 days. So that way we can show that process of development and consistency.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I didn't think about the different types of consultations that you'd actually have, the different types of programs you'd be offering, because there are, you've got corporate clients, you've got individual clients, and sure, you want to help them all grow in a different way, and they have different needs. So it's kind of a tailor-made type program, it looks like.
Absolutely. One of the things that we're kind of highlighting this month is the DISC assessments. Are you familiar with DISC assessments? A
No,
lot
please tell us.
personality assessments. Yeah,
Please
so
let us know
personality
all about it.
assessments. Personality assessments. Basically, what it does is teaches you how you want to be communicated with. Because a lot of things we have issues with is communication. You go into a workplace and you got different personalities, different ethnicities, different financial backgrounds. So certain things may mean one thing to you and it may mean a different thing to another person. So one of the things you can do is take this assessment and breaks it down. It's because breaks it down to a D, an I, an S, and a C. It explains to you how that particular personality style likes to be communicated with, and it's also great for teammates, team building, and also spouses, because a lot of things. So like kids, right? Sometimes spouses or partners may argue, "Hey, Johnny acts just like you. It gets you from your dad's side." Well, and honestly, Johnny may act just like mom because they exhibit the same personality traits. So different things. It's kind of like an HR department for home.
Sure.
It's a great tool.
Well, a lot of those things will, transfer between, because it's a relational relationship and communication type thing. So, you're just
Absolutely.
talking to people, whether it be your spouse or whether it be your business partner or whether it be an employee. Sure, effective communication skills are effective communication skills. So that's always a valuable tool to have in the old arsenal.
Right.
I think that effective communication is highly underrated. I really do. When I do seminars and when I do, little consultations, that's the biggest thing. When you ask, what are you lacking in your business? It's usually a voice. It's usually
Right.
some sort of voice that they don't have on their own for whatever reason. They've thought about it, wanted to do it, didn't start it, was scared to do it, didn't think it was good enough, whatever. But you really just have to get out there and do that.
No, absolutely, I agree. And that's the big thing is the first step of anything is admitting the problem and then taking action. You know what I mean, to execute that plan for that problem. So yeah, you really have to do that.
So helping people grow and pushing in a positive direction is what you're all about. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are? Where'd you come from? What makes you want to do this? What's the story with Mr. Trell?
Born I was born, raised on the west side of Chicago, then moved to the south side of Chicago as I got older. Moved to stay with my grandmother. Uh, the typical environment, nice family, great upbringing. Then joined the military. Wanted to figure out what I want to do with my life, find some type of structure. And what happens is with that, just like any other team or sport, you get around a bunch of people you don't know, and then you tend to grow, and they become family, and you learn things from different people. And that's the most important thing. Is just it's such a diverse group of people. You learn things, and people come and go, and then that's one of the things that you realize is, oh wow, I learned something from Steve that I met 10 years ago that was from Saudi Arabia, or I learned something
Oh,
from Terrence. You know what I mean? So different things like that was from Virginia. So, and then people tell you, hey, I learned a lot from you. I appreciate you helping me with this and you helping me advance in certain areas. So you get some type of gratification from that. And then just one day you wake up and feel like, hey, I like doing that. I enjoy doing that. That brings me joy. And oh, I can actually do that for a living. So that's just kind of brought me to this path.
that's here. That's great. That is great. So how long have you been in the business of actual coaching? I mean, I know the military took up, a big portion there and now you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
this, but how long have you been in the coaching profession?
So about 6 years, and I started my own company 3 years ago.
Excellent. Now, okay, I'm going to ask this because I have a lot of listeners that are young entrepreneurs, that are people trying to build their businesses and companies, and consulting is something that people try to do. How hard was that for you to get going? I mean, you've been going 6 years now. How long did it take before you felt like you were kind of doing okay? Was it 6 months? Was it 6 years?
About 5 years.
There you go. Okay. And that's
Yeah,
real deal
yeah,
answers, man. That's why I ask these questions. I
yeah.
ask the hard ones. Look, people
Oh
don't
yeah.
talk about some of this stuff. And in
Oh yeah.
truth, those are the biggest hurdles as an entrepreneur, is wondering if you're as good as everybody else, wondering if you're
Right.
on par, wondering if you're doing well enough. You're always analyzing yourself against someone else, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think it's that facade that everybody puts on, whether it's intentional or not. Uh, you know, you just don't know. You really don't know it, because
Right.
everybody looks like they're doing better than they're doing. That's really what it is. When you're sitting here,
Especially with social media. Yeah.
yeah, and when you're an entrepreneur and you're pushing your business and yours is a brand new business and it looks like all the other brand new businesses around you are just booming and you're sitting here wondering why the customers aren't coming in and aren't clicking the buttons and aren't, you know, the phones aren't ringing, and it makes you feel a certain way.
Right.
So when you have somebody that's doing this, because really, how do you market your company, or how have you marketed it in the past 6 years?
So wow, great question. That was probably the hard part. Was the first couple of years was trying to figure out, marketing. After having so many years of people work for me, starting my own business, working by myself, I was identifying things that weren't getting done that I was so used to having people do for me, and marketing is one of them. So getting real intimate with Canva, talking to my kids, trying to figure out how the social media thing works, and then just really learning from there, and going to social networking events, and listening to a lot of young folks.
Yeah. Okay, so
Because the younger generation.
you're actually picking up the tools to make it happen and doing it yourself. You have not gone out and just said, "Oh, I want to hire a company of these kids to make it done."
No, I have not. And then so last year I got to the point where I was sending out flyers, I was on social media, and then I finally got a young man to take some video footage of me. And then he did a couple commercials for me. So he started teaching me how to take the video, cut the video, upload the video. And I was like, oh wow, I was
Oh,
doing old school,
well, hey,
putting flyers on street posts type things. But yeah.
and well, you know, here's something that okay, we always hear the pitch for life coaching, business coaching, and all of that. But can you tell me exactly like what that looks like? What does that process look like for someone? And now, if you were a psychiatrist, I know that no matter what problem I tell you, you're just going to say, "Well, how does that make you feel?" You know, so we know that we know what that process looks like. But what does
Right.
actual mentorship program from you look like?
Man, that's easy. Like I said, the first thing I do is sit down and get to know a person. Maybe find out their likes and dislikes. You can have them fill out a consult documentation. I just rather have a natural conversation versus canned comments. So that way you actually get an honest answer and true feeling of how the person actually feels. You get to see the facial expressions, the body movements, the gestures, things that they do, they don't know that they do. They might wonder why they can't communicate with people, and they always got a scowl or a frown on their face or something along those lines. It might be the tone or pitch of how they're having a conversation. I mean, a lot of those things happen in, identification in the first 10 to 15 minutes of just talking to somebody.
You know what?
So
I've seen that in the direction that a man walks. I've
absolutely.
seen that. Yes, because he's wondered, why does no one listen to me? Why does
Right,
no one
right.
listen to me? And it's the way you entered the room. The way you entered the room
Exactly.
stumped you. Yeah. Slope, shoulder,
Right, right.
head down, you know.
Right. Stand up
I,
straight, roll your shoulders back.
yeah,
Right. Pick your head up.
sure. And then I've seen the people that come in hot and heavy, boy, and you want to move out of their way when they're coming. And it's
Right,
usually they have
right, right,
that forward lean when they're, when they're
right.
walking, because they're in emotion. Well, to another an
Absolutely.
onlooker that's in a calm, relaxed state, hey man, that means get the hell out the way. That does not mean, hey, there's somebody coming to engage me. It says,
Right, right, right.
sure. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying. That body language, you really have to understand and be aware of yourself and how you're
Right.
presenting. Sure.
Absolutely.
So can you tell just a few tips? Because I know you probably hear a lot of the same questions over and over and over again, or the same problems over and over and over again. Can you name the top three? The top three either questions or problems that people bring to you?
Um, how do I get someone to listen to me? This is number one. Um, another another one that pops up a lot is obviously the communication, the effective communication piece, and leadership, and then I'll say teamwork. I'll give you four: teamwork, because a lot of places with the online social media, a lot of things are going to that single player action video game mode almost. There's not a lot of people together in groups and working together, and kind of interacting. I was talking to somebody the other day, about one of their kids, and they were saying their kid had an attitude, and I was like, well, what makes you think that? And it was like, well, we talk through text all the time, and I was like, well, okay, there's one identifier, and the second one was face to face conversation is typically a second or a third. And then I just asked, a lot of things that people, the younger generation doesn't realize is through talking through text. They know not to use caps because that's, yelling. They know the rules in the game and the rules of how to text properly without being disrespectful and everything else, but
Sure.
they aren't verbally having those conversations.
That's
So
exactly right.
they have the ethics in the text messages, but not the ethics in the verbal interaction, face to face with actual humans. So I think that's so that'll be one of the things that I talk to a lot of people about is that.
How many conversations do you have about pick up the damn phone and
Too
call
many.
somebody? Yes, call somebody.
Too
Talk to
many,
them
too many.
voice to voice, human to human. Yes, I do
Right,
too. Hey, that's why we started doing this. So you can
right.
it's a little bit about yourself, man. What do you do for fun? What do you like to go fishing? You like to play basketball? What do you do?
Man, I got bad knees in the back now, man. Not much of the basketball anymore, but no, a lot of time, what I do as an additional hobby is go working in the schools and helping out the youth, the younger folks. That's more of my passion nowadays. Is more just going out and being self-serving and helping out. Like I said, I get happiness and passion from that.
Sure,
And then other than that, relaxing, find a good TV show to sit down and listen to, or a podcast to listen to, and
sure.
try to figure out my next move. I'm so focused on the business right now. I don't really have any other options or,
Hey,
or
you know
things
what? I do
outside
the
the
same
business.
thing. People ask me, "What do you do for fun?" I'm like, "Well, I work." What do you do?
Right, right, right. I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, in truth, man, motivated people, people who are really actors and get out, I mean, movers and doers, uh,
Right, right.
man, we ain't sitting around BSing, not for much. Not from if we are,
No,
our wheels are turning and there's an agenda the whole time. I mean, even when I'm sitting
absolutely.
watching TV with my wife, man, that movie's triggering thoughts about what I need to be doing the whole time I'm on the phone doing this. I'm trying to make sure that I catch up on my messages and my scheduled posts and the things that you have to
Right.
do. All that. Are you gonna watch this with me? Are you gonna look up at the screen? I'm sure you've heard this, right?
Ab- Absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely.
It just means you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. You're out there grinding, working hard, trying to be a man, taking care of your family. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
In whatever way it is that you do it, man. And everybody does it in a different way, which is interesting too. Where I come from, being a coach, a counselor, a mentor, any of that, that's not even a job. That's not a job.
Right,
That's something that you volunteer to do over at the Boy Scouts or something.
right,
And you
right,
take
right.
one or two kids under your wing a year or something and take them a day on the job or something. Yeah, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Right. And I mean, I come from a little tiny town in Nowhereville, USA, man. And coming to where people actually, you see that human beings need services.
Right,
Human beings need services, and it is real. And once you see that life can hand you stuff that you just don't know how to deal on your own.
right,
And then also, once you can swallow your own personal pride and realize that the majority of human beings are looking for someone else to help guide them, you know,
exactly.
they all have the question, what am I supposed to be doing right now? What am I supposed to do next? And what in the hell am I supposed to do with my life? That's the question with every person. And I think it's whether they're 16 or 60, man. That's the same
Right.
question. I was just talking to a guy the other day that his friend had written a book at 81 years old about starting over again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can't remember the name of the book, but yeah, 81 years old, starting over again. And that was the whole idea behind it was that even at 81, people are starting over. People are, you know, redoing their life.
Absolutely. You lived 81 years. Why not? I mean,
Right. What you got to lose, man. This is
exactly.
the 15th iteration of you.
Exactly.
I mean,
Better times in the present.
hell, I myself, I go through, scrapbooks sometimes, man, and I just call it the many faces of Chris, dude, because
Maybe.
yeah, it's like every little, era you can see. It's like, oh, this was the such and such years. And each one
Right.
looked like a whole different type of person. Like the whole person is different.
And I do that with my kids. Okay, that's when I that era with that kid, the era with that kid, because
It's
they all
just
have that personality from me in that time frame. So
certainly, yeah, it's just a part of human evolution, I think. And I
yeah,
guess maybe it's my anthropologic whatever, but I do enjoy the study of that, watching it. To me,
absolutely.
now I missed this with my older two kids. I've got four. I've got two that are in their 20s, and I've got two that are in single digits. Well, right there, right there. Anyhow, yeah. Two little ones, two big ones, and the two older ones. I don't think that I noticed it as much. I guess I was just a new parent in my late teens, early 20s, and but the later two, I really watched or enjoyed watching their brain form. And when I say
Right.
that, I remember playing with my daughter, and at one point they take, well, let's see, what do I got around here? I got a little mouse, right? So they got the mouse and they'll just do, and they're just kind of bouncing it
Right.
around and doing stuff. There's really not anything going on, but the next thing you know, the little Barbie doll walks over to the refrigerator and opens it up, grabs some milk, drinks it, then she sits her down on the chair, and there's a story.
Right.
And it's
Right.
the process of watching the brain start to do things. It's like
Develop. Yep.
mimic.
Yep.
Yeah. My son, I remember at one point in time he was sitting there and it was a car and a dinosaur, and he would just, you know, just do all that kind of stuff. And he would just stomping them around on the floor. That was it. And I remember the first time he took the car and he rolled it back and forth like it was supposed to. And the first time that he took the dinosaur and he said, rah, it was, now I understand what to do with them. It's
Right. Actually.
cool to play with something, but now I understand what to do with it. And then
Right.
see, now, okay, now you know what to do with it. Now watch the stories and the imagination develop.
Right. Right. The
Yeah, yeah,
evolution process. Yeah.
sure. And I didn't notice that with my older two. I just watched kids grow up. I just played with them and as they could understand stuff and didn't notice. But being older and having a younger set of kids, I can really
Right.
appreciate that. Yeah, certainly.
Right.
I tell you, while I've got you on here, is there any information that you definitely want our listeners to have that they just
Um.
cannot leave this show without hearing?
I mean, absolutely. Website is realorlive.org, and the
Realorlive.org.
yes, REALORLIVE
Excellent.
dot org. Yeah,
That'll be flashing
absolutely.
on the screen, by the way.
Okay.
During this video, that'll be flashing on the screen as you're saying it. Is there an email address or just the website? What would you like?
No, yes, sir. The email address is atfc @realorlive.org. Try to keep it simple.
ATFC. You got it.
Yes.
ATFC at realorlive.org. And I'll have that on the screen as well. Now, any parting words of wisdom or advice?
Parting words, not necessarily wisdom or advice. I'll just say that, if you should self-evaluate. If that's something that you don't do, that's something that you should add to your toolbox, is self-evaluation. So that way you can always do some reflecting on yourself and see, how you were yesterday, how you are today, and which way you want to go tomorrow. That's one of the best things to do, is just take some time and decompress. And if you look at different, you know, organizations, a lot of people, they talk about meditation, they talk about yoga, they talk about the different things that kind of get you self-centered with yourself. And that's one of the things I think people should really focus on, is just figure out who you are as a person and who you want to become. And I think you'll be fine.
Thank you for those words. Now, I tell you what, if I could do something for you, if there were two different types of people that I could introduce
Mm-hmm.
you to help further your career, what
Uh,
would they be? What would those two types of people be?
when you say two types of people, you mean
Yeah,
as
a certain position of somebody that you need to get to know, or a certain field, somebody in a certain field that you'd like to get to know, or even a specific person. Maybe do you want to shout out, hey, Elon, you know what? I don't know, whatever. Point is, maybe you're looking for somebody to come in and help you with finances. So you're looking for a CFO to come be a partner. I don't know. Maybe you're looking for somebody that's already in video and editing and content making, and it would benefit your company if they came to work with you. I don't know. Whatever the
right, right,
types of people that would help you out in your company, who are they?
right. The type of people that help me out with the company is whoever's motivated, maybe young business owners, or maybe just recently taken over a leadership position, and they need some guidance. They need some, words of wisdom, maybe just to bounce a few words off and see if they're on the right track or the right path. Definitely some folks that are looking to, take their companies and their personnel to the next level. That's what I would like to be a part of.
You got it. You got it. Well, thank you very much, Coach Trell, for those words of wisdom. And for anybody out there listening that may be looking for mentorship, advice, business growth strategies, right? I mean, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Coach Trell is the man to holler at today. So if you'll look down below when this video goes public, there will be links to reach him, his website, and his email address, so that you can contact and see if you guys aren't a match made in business heaven.